Welcome to part 2 of What If Total Drama had an all-winner season. Now, firstly, you might be noticing Heather and Alejandro are back. That's because I wanted to bring them back because I feel like I eliminate them too early when they are some of the greatest manipulators in the game. But there's another thing is that literally everyone knows that they're manipulators. Well, people from earlier seasons, for example, say if Sean was a villain, they wouldn't really know much about him because they probably wouldn't want to watch Total Drama after all the pain and misery he put through. That's why I kind of kept Bowie, but no, I think I'm just going to add back Heather and Alejandro. If you missed the last episode, please go watch that because it is very good. But if you don't want to, here's the elimination order. Currently, there's only 4 people eliminated now. But, yeah. Now, starting off, I feel like Ren would be really upset that Heather's back. But I feel like Zoe would just comfort her and tell her, like, hey, it's okay. You don't have to worry about her. With Cameron backing Zoe up on this, saying that she has good friends and they will protect her from whatever Heather's mischievous plans are. With this episode, of course, whoever wins gets immunity. But since we have a lot of players, I'm going to say that whoever wins, there is going to be 2 winners. So 2 people can get immunity. And the winners will get to choose who is out of here, who's eliminated. And with that, let me regain myself. Alright, so one problem about this is that we've gone through a good chunk of the season. Island, Action, World Tour. So we would be picking up with the Revenge of the Island finale. But one problem, it was supposed to be 2 winners fighting everybody. But I feel like Chris will just, kind of go through that, making everybody fight, with everyone being able to choose what they want. And I feel like the people who immediately stand out are Alejandro and Lightning, seeing that they're both probably the most physically gifted. So I'm going to assume that they would take the win. So with them having to agree, I feel like Alejandro, since he wasn't in alliance with Lightning, would try and regroup on that, and he wouldn't really care. And Alejandro would push for Heather to go home. But Lightning looks down for a second and then whispers into Alejandro's ear. Alejandro looks at him asking why he chooses that contestant, and Lightning says that he wants them gone. Not for a specific reason. Well, there is a specific reason, revenge. But he really wants them gone, and if they get him out, Alejandro will be the new leader. And I feel like Alejandro, knowing that Lightning is, kind of wanting to be the leader all the time, he would be shocked, and of course, going with this, maybe he would be able to control Lightning's vote. I mean, he kind of already does, but even more control and not Lightning questioning it or fighting over it. And with that, Cameron is gone. Lightning has no secret that he is not fond of Cameron. He really hates him because he made Cameron could you say tricked him? No, and stole the win with him. Quotation marks, stole the win. So I feel like he would still have a grudge against him and finally vote him off for winning when he wanted to win. Plus, you would also say that stealing his dad's rings, which he kind of did do by winning, would also make him win. Want to vote him off, not win. Mike, Zoe, and Gwen would all run to the dock of shame and say goodbye to Cameron. Sad to see him go, but Cameron looks up and says that he's happy going this early, seeing that he didn't think he would make it this far in an all-winter season, and says he's more than happy to leave, at least after the merge. I feel like Mike, Zoe, and Gwen will now have a grudge against Lightning and be really mad that him and Alejandro voted him off. So I feel like they would try to win to get Lightning out of here for revenge for getting Cameron out. So all they had to do is make sure Lightning does not win. So I feel like they would come up with a plan with someone having to stop Lightning from winning. I feel like the one who would maybe be the easiest to do this is Mike. And I feel like Zoe and Gwen could probably convince everybody else. So I'm just going to say that, yeah, Mike distracts him. Lightning tries to race past Mike, but Mike jumps on him using the talent of Split Lana. I know that Split Lana was destroyed with the other ones, but I meant like the fact that he has like the essence of Split Lana still in him, so he still has like the talent. He just doesn't need the personality. Alejandro, seeing Lightning distracted, he runs past Lightning saying that I'll win it for us, and Heather does not want that. Heather tries to run to stop Alejandro, but he pushes her out the way, saying that I'm not losing to you again, Heather, and you're not going to attract me this time. Heather blushing on the ground, but also furious, getting back up to chase Alejandro. Meanwhile, Zoe and Gwen would probably be doing good, convincing people like Zoe or Priya and Sean. But when it comes to Bowie, I don't know if he would actually vote Alejandro. But also thinking, or not Alejandro, Lightning, because Lightning isn't really that much of a threat to him, and he still has a mini alliance. So he would, and then he's going with them, but he wouldn't actually. Alejandro, Mike, Lightning, and Heather are all fighting into the first. Well, Mike's not really fighting, he's just holding Lightning back. With Mike realizing that he has the strength of veto and jumps off him. Lightning gets confused, saying why did he stop, while he jumps over him and gives him a good roundhouse punch to the jaw, I guess. This, of course, makes Lightning to fall back and actually try to back away from Mike, seeing that he didn't know he was that strong. But it's Alejandro and Heather who are still racing and fighting over them. Also, I feel like Gwen and Zoe wouldn't be trying that much, seeing that they're trying to convince the others. Well, Mike is tackling Lightning, so they feel safe. And with this, it's hard to tell since Heather and Alejandro are both in the lead, but I do think that Alejandro could maybe outrun Heather. Heather starts screaming at Alejandro, getting incredibly mad that he won. Alejandro said that it's not like we're on a team, and Heather just looks at him with a devilish glare and walks away. Now, when it comes to the vote, I think it's safe to say that these four would vote for Lightning, or these five would vote for Lightning. But Alejandro not wanting to lose Lightning, of course, attracts a Bowie, which works. I feel like he could also tell Heather that if they don't lose. He saw Gwen and Zoe talking to everyone, and he's assuming that they're talking to vote Heather out. Heather gets extremely nervous and decides that she'll vote with Alejandro, but only this once time to save her butt. Now, it is pretty obvious that Lightning goes. There's 5 votes against him, meaning that he would go, right? But I do think there's one thing that could happen, and that's Bowie rigging the votes. If Harold could rig the votes in Islands, then I feel like Bowie could definitely do it. Especially because he's a lot more devilish than Harold, and it would just make sense for him to rig the votes because he doesn't really want to lose an ally. And seeing one of his biggest competitors, Priya, is eliminated. Priya is confused because they thought they were voting Lightning, but quickly realizes that Zoe, Mike, Gwen, and Sean must have betrayed her and actually voted for her. They quickly say no, that's not what happened, as Bowie just giggles on the corner. I feel like these 3 would be extremely confused because they thought that Lightning was for sure going to go home, and they expect that someone rigged it up. They immediately start looking for evidence, but Heather just walks up to them and asks them what they're doing. They don't want to talk to Heather, seeing that they probably helped vote Lightning, or they helped vote off Priya. But Heather just looks confused, saying that, "Oh, whatever do you mean?" walking back to her cabin. The other 2 become extremely furious, but just decide to walk away and not let them get distracted during the challenge. Episode 10 is the cliff dive. But the only problem is, if we're doing that, then there would have to be the little mansion thing in All Stars. I can't remember what it's called, and I really don't care. All Stars was trash season, and I don't want to think about it. Anyways, Episode 10. Episode 10 is an easy one. Now, thinking about it, because we could just say that Chris added it in for the challenge. With people who would dive, everyone would dive. It's not that hard. I pretty much think everybody would dive here. Now, the only problem with this challenge is that it's extremely luck-based. So I put a name through the random wheel generator, and the winner was Gwen. Gwen happy she won, but Chris tells her that she can bring 2 people into the spa hotel, as well as her getting permanent residence of the spa hotel. And of course she brings Mike and Zoe. He also tells her that she can protect one. She can also give someone immunity, meaning that they can't be voted out. And immediately she doesn't know who to give it to because Mike and Zoe are both her friends. But Mike says to give it to Zoe because he'd rather have Zoe stay in than her getting eliminated. So with someone being eliminated, I feel like these 4 would now, of course, vote Lightning again. And Gwen goes over to Heather, and as much as she hates to say, she says that they're voting Heather, or they're voting Lightning. Heather is confused because they thought that their plan was to vote Heather, and quickly realizes that Alejandro tricked her, and immediately agrees to vote Lightning, but only if we eliminate Alejandro next. Which she of course accepts because she doesn't like either Heather or Alejandro. Gwen is surprised to hear Alejandro or Heather actually thanking Gwen and actually being a little nice for once. And Lightning is eliminated. Alejandro looks over at Heather while Heather just gives Alejandro a raspberry, laughing that he lost the competitor. Lightning starts yelling at everybody, telling him that I should have won this shebang and that I should have been the ultimate winner. Everyone doesn't care and moves on. Alejandro, knowing that if he doesn't win, he will get voted out, he immediately pushes through the challenge. And immediately, I feel like people like Bowie and Alejandro would easily make it past what's it called? The acid bath. Because both of them had the idea to ride the log Rossi acid. Both of them quickly climb the lava, leaving everyone else in the dust. Zoe and Mike would probably be the best at this since they already did it. So Mike grabs a stick and uses it to rope pull across and tells the other to do that, which they do. Gwen and Sean being the last couple, or Heather and Sean being the last few, I feel like Sean will just start walking away and Heather starts laughing that he admits defeat, which Sean immediately starts running back and jumps over the lava, which leaves Heather completely speechless. When they get, or not the lava, the acid. When they get to the second floor, they see that Bowie and Alejandro are already at the water level, which extremely gets them nervous. So they quickly try to pass through it. Next, it's Bowie and Alejandro, and I feel like Bowie would still try to win this because he doesn't care if Alejandro loses. He wants Alejandro to lose because he realizes how much of a threat he is. And with Alejandro starting to panic, Alejandro rips off his shirt, which Bowie just stops and stares. Alejandro, of course, with a major lead he has, pulls out the sword and wins. All the others seem extremely defeated that they didn't win, and now they have to decide who to vote. Heather immediately runs to Mike, Zoe, and Gwen and begs to not get voted off and tells him that Bowie rigged the votes against Priya. All of them are shocked and also kind of leave her because that is something Bowie would do. And also she would probably be the only one who would know since she was teaming with them at the time. Everyone tells Bowie that they know, and Alejandro just stays silent and looks at Bowie saying that I didn't know that was the plan, with Bowie being speechless. This obviously meaning that Bowie is eliminated. Bowie's a little defeated, but also says that this was a fun game and he's glad to betray so many people. All of them are confused because they thought he wanted to win, but he turns back saying that I'll win the crown next time, just you see. Heather would be very happy that she's in the final 6 and would be jumping of joy while Gwen and Zoe just stare at her kind of confused. While Alejandro, Mike, and Sean are all kind of silent, not really wanting to talk because they don't really know each other the most. But Mike is giving a few glares to Alejandro while he tries to make alliance with Mike, which he of course ignores. Everyone kind of looks confused because they see that Chris isn't at the challenge yet, which he quickly jumps out and congratulates the final 6. He tells them all that one of you guys will be the winner, but he also tells them that this elimination is a double elimination, which of course scares everybody. But he says not to sweat, because not only will the winner have immunity, they get to choose one person to go home, while the rest vote someone off. Everyone being extremely excited, they start building their forts to block whatever's coming their way. Now, people like Alejandro and Sean would probably be the best at this, seeing that Alejandro said that he's very smart and he also has an engineering degree, and Sean also trained his entire life to not lose against zombies. So I feel like it would be between those two, with them having to do another one, with them having to make another build, and I think it's safe to say that Alejandro would win, because yes, Sean has trained his whole life to stay away from zombies, but that's nothing compared to an engineering degree. Alejandro laughs while looking at Heather, while she sighs and gets ready to go. But Alejandro said, "Did I say your name?" while turning around to Sean and pointing at him. Sean is shocked, but he says, "Sorry, but you were too much of a good competitor to keep," which makes Sean eliminated. Everyone sits on fire as Chris starts handing out marshmallows. As he gives the first one to Zoe, which Alejandro stands up and says, "I want immunity, where's my marshmallow?" Which Chris points at him and sit back down, and which he does furiously. He gives giving Mike and Gwen a marshmallow, and understands that Heather is gone and laughs at her. Right as Chris throws a marshmallow to Heather, Alejandro stares at Chris and says, "But I had immunity," and he says, "Yes, you had immunity. But one simple problem." And he pulls out some plaster, which was not one of the materials. Alejandro sighs and just walks to the dock and defeated, but glad that he at least made it to the final 5, making Alejandro eliminated. Heather, Gwen, and Zoe all kind of feel awkward, and with Heather breaking the silence, saying, "Don't worry, I know I'm next. The rest of you are all buddy-buddy, so it's pretty safe to say that I'm leaving. Is that your plan?" while looking at Gwen and Zoe. Well, Mike is just kind of lonely in the guys' cabin. As everyone walks out, Chris says that the next couple of challenges are going to be merch or purge challenges. Whoever is the last to finish one of these challenges is eliminated. Heather is shocked since she finally has a second chance and starts gloating, but also kind of feels bad that he's doing that and sits back down. Gwen gets extremely confused, seeing why Heather is trying to be so nice. Zoe, I feel like it's safe to say that Zoe would probably win this first, with Mike following along behind her. But I feel like that since they were riding together, it would count both as first place. With Heather and Gwen in the back, Heather starts leaning forward to try and pick up speed, which Gwen falls to do. As both of them race towards the finish, the avalanche comes and knocks both of them off, flying over the finish line. And since they both didn't cross the finish line and Mike and Zoe tied, he says that everyone has to redo it, which they all are confused since Mike and Zoe technically crossed the finish line. But Chris quickly shrugs it off, saying that we need to see who actually got first place. Mike and Zoe rolling their eyes while Heather and Gwen think or get extremely excited that they aren't going. Now with this, I feel like Grace would move to maybe a different location. Maybe somewhere that's a little more harder, which is a rocky mountain. Everyone races down while Chris says that Mike and Zoe can't go on the same board again. Everyone begins racing, and as Heather sees that she's last, she immediately grabs Tree Branch, stands up on her board, and knocks Zoe off of hers. As everyone else crosses the finish line, Mike screams out that that's unfair, but Chris just shrugs it off and says Zoe was the last to finish, making her eliminated. Zoe tearfully says goodbye to Gwen and Mike, saying that she's glad to get such a good relationship while flipping off Heather. And I feel like this would be, the final challenge would be a little bit of a mixture of all challenges. So he decides for the final challenge to be the first ever challenge mixed up. Every first challenge of the season is going to be it. I feel like it's safe to say Heather loses. Not only would Mike and Gwen not be sabotaging each other while Heather would try to, Heather just does not seem like she could do it compared to Mike and Gwen. Heather just screams, saying that she was so close and she almost won the million, saying that she deserved it since she didn't even get the million in World Tour. So usually I just leave it off that these guys are the winners, but I decided to do separate winner endings like the actual show. So since it's a mixture, I'm going to say that everybody gets helpers, and I'm going to say that Mike got Cameron, and Sean. Well, Gwen gets Zoe and Sky. And I feel like it would be a point for every challenge won, but I feel like I'm also safe to say that we skipped the first challenge, seeing that it would basically just be a race to see who gets it first. So for the second challenge, so basically I'm just going to go through the challenge, and with the last challenge I'm going to say that it's all tied up. Whoever gets this point wins. And with this, I'm just going to simply say that it's a mixture between the Revenge of the Island and All-Stars finale. They had to fight using gear that they used while climbing up the final thing. But the helpers are also allowed to help. Zoe and Sky look for stuff to make Gwen armor, while Cameron built something similar for Mike, that he built himself in Revenge of the Island. So in Mike's winning ending, they both get to the final top, and Gwen begins to hit all of Mike's laser blasts. But as one final hope, he uses all of his energy to blast towards the sword as he slams into it. There's a big puff of smoke as when Mike is there, it's seen that he broke the sword out of the stone. And Chris, being lazy enough to say, I think he would just accept this. Zoe, Cameron, and Gwen would all cheer for him, as well as Sky and Sean, but Sky was still leaning that she wanted Gwen to win. Mike and Gwen give each other a simple handshake, saying good game, as Cameron and Zoe rush and hug Mike. In Gwen's winning ending, when Mike blasts to go get the sword, he completely misses and falls off the edge, making Gwen have perfect time to pull out the sword. Zoe and Sky cheer for her extremely loudly, while Cameron claps saying, "Great job, Gwen." They check if Mike's okay, but he's all good since the armor protected him. And there you have it. That is What If Total Drama had a winner versus runner-up season. I hope you liked this. It was multiple parts. The recording I had got deleted midway through, so I just decided to post it since I didn't have anything else to post. And thank you for a bunch for the support on the last two. I'm very happy for all of you. And also, thank you for 73 subscribers. And with that, I will see you guys next time.